Hello, my name is Caroline, and this is my final exam. In regards to improvement, it's hard to choose because there were a few speeches who stood out to me. I feel that Samantha Heflin really showed the most improvement in her speaking style. While her informative speech was very creative and unique, I think it lacked a lot of detail and any college level research. I know she did the best that she could with her chosen topic. It just wasn't very professional, in my opinion. However, with the persuasive speech, she chose an interesting topic that she was clearly more passionate about, which allowed her to deliver her speech a lot more professionally. She was very persuasive, and she maintained good eye contact, and she used appropriate hand gestures throughout the entire speech. She showed a clear improvement from the last speech, and I really think she did a good job. I especially liked how she offered a solution towards the end about the issue, which she didn't think was practical, but I thought it was pretty practical, as I do agree with her opinion on the issue. Now, when it comes to the best research, I feel that many of my classmates, once again, had great research, but I do have to say that Tristan White made the best use of his research. He clearly had an extensive amount of research for both of his speeches, from the evolution of video games to the accepting of same-sex parenting. For his informative speech, it was clear that he knew what he was talking about. He had a clear interest in video games, which allowed him to appear more confident in his knowledge of the subject. For his persuasive speech, he was successful because he was passionate about the issue, and his research really backed up all of his argumentative points. You could tell he was passionate, and like I said, anytime he would argue the misconception that they're not good parents, his research really backed him up, and he had points to prove people otherwise. So this was a very persuasive speech in my opinion as well. So good job, Tristan. And last but not least, in my opinion, the best style would have to be that of Bernie Campbell. Bernie really went above and beyond for both of her speeches, and her presentation style really stood out to me for both of her speeches. Again, she delivered them both with amazing confidence and uniqueness. Her entire informative speech rhymed, which I thought was very cool. And yet it was still very informative and detailed, and her research was evident. And she dressed appropriately each time. She maintained great eye contact. She used appropriate hand gestures. She clearly, once again, knew what she was talking about, and she wasn't shy talking in front of the audience. She was very professional. And for her second speech, she challenged the audience, which is a great way to engage them. And she certainly persuaded me by telling me information on the topic that I am familiar with, but I would have never even considered. So I thought that was pretty neat. So good job to everybody. Now, some may say that an online public speaking class isn't really public speaking. However, I would disagree, and I'm sure most of you would too. Personally, I struggled with my nerves for each speech, regardless of if I was alone or with a few close friends and family. Either way, it was awkward to talk to the people who know me so personally. I had to talk to them as if I didn't know them, or just in a professional manner, I guess I should say. I feel like overall, I did a good job in this class. I'm proud of myself. In the beginning, I received both positive and negative feedback for both of my speeches. I had great research, but I spoke too fast. I was passionate about my topic, but I was reading from a computer screen. All of these critiques helped me to improve on my final speech, the persuasive. For my first speech, I focused more on writing a good essay, I think, than delivering a speech. This is the reason I was unable to memorize my speech and found myself reading from a computer screen. Although memorizing isn't 100% necessary, it certainly helps to maintain better eye contact with your audience. For my persuasive speech, I worked on taking out words that maybe were difficult to pronounce or that I found myself stuttering over. I shortened my speech by putting it on note cards, which I also think helped me to present better, as I think I appeared more professionally because I was able to sort of remember what I was going to say next. I do regret not utilizing the opportunity to present in a classroom when it was given to us by Professor Maple, because I really feel like that would have helped me to be more engaging towards my audience. For me, it's more awkward, I think, talking to all the people I know versus if I were to speak to a bunch of strangers who don't even know me anyway. As far as research goes, I wouldn't really change much. I received the most positive feedback from my research, which I truly am grateful for, because both of my speeches were on topics that I am truly passionate about, so it meant a lot to me that people really liked my speeches a lot. I think my strongest area is with the information part of the speech. However, the area with the most room for growth would have to be my presenting skills. I noticed how often I stumbled over my own words or forgot where I was, and I had to pause in the middle of presenting. These moments only increased my nerves and made me more uncomfortable. However, overall, I am proud of the work I've presented. I've taken all the negative and positive feedback, and I will use it in the future. Public speaking, unfortunately, is a skill needed, for a lifetime, so I feel like this class has really helped me. I now understand the difference in speaking to an audience versus presenting to an audience. Presenting requires far more than just knowledge on your topic. I will continue to remember the critiques I was given by my classmates as well as our professor and apply them in the future as needed. I haven't mastered any of the necessary skills for a successful speech, but I do feel like because of this class I have improved and I will only continue to improve. So thank you to everyone for a great semester, and I wish all of you guys the best of luck. And now, in regards to the technicalities of the course, I personally never really had any issues with Canvas. I think, Professor, you've been great. You've offered a lot of constructive criticism as well as a ton of positive feedback. I always felt like you were there for us as a professor, which I appreciated very much. I think the only critique I would have for the class would be not receiving grades as quickly as I may like. But other than that, it's been a great class. It's been a great semester. And I'd like to say good job to everybody.